Hey, you busy? Mm-mm. Okay, let me run something past you real quick. Are you okay with being ignorant in some areas? I know that was a kind of question like, you don't just pick up the phone and start the conversation that way, ma'am. Okay, well, excuse me. How you doing? Everything's okay? Okay, great. Listen, I have been just in student form, just sitting in the posture of just learning and grasping and soaking in all that's around me, all that is presented to me, because I believe you can learn through anything, but more so when God's trying to go ahead and show you something, it just wisdom should make you go ahead and say, okay, since this is the path that I'm going to be on for however marked time frame, then I at least want to familiarize myself with something. You ever move somewhere and it was new to you, that particular area, and you felt a little foreign because you didn't know the ins and outs of that grocery store or how to get back home without the GPS? You ever went ahead and went on vacation and felt like a true tourist because you're looking at maps and you can't even truly enjoy where you're at until you confirm how you got here, kind of thing? You ever got into a relationship and you can't completely get comfortable with that person because I don't know enough about you? I need to explore your personality. I mean, you smell good when I met you, but like I kind of want to see if you are a good portion or addition to my life. You ever went to a job and you started off kind of, guarded because of your personality couldn't all the way blossom and open up because I don't really know y'all, so I don't really know who to hide myself from, who to guard myself from, who to open up to. I don't know who I can trust yet. It is something about when something is new to you, there is a level of caution. And if you have ever felt that way, then that means that ultimately you are ignorant to something, which is not totally in itself a bad thing. It just tells you until I gain more information, I can't yet be fully comfortable in this seat, in this relationship, in this all the above. And I noticed that exploratory, a posture of exploring should always be something that we are aiming for. There should never be something that you are knowingly ignorant to, something that is obviously foreign to you, and you just decided that's just your portion. No, there should never be that you are entrusted with something, that you are entrusted with someone, and that you just decided, well, I don't really know too much about that area. And then you put a period at the end of that sentence instead of a comma. Sometimes in life, what God is waiting for you to do is make sure that you know a little bit about a lot. And if you listen to any self-help guru or business guru, they will go ahead and tell you you need to develop systems where you can go ahead and not have to have your hand in every pot, and you could just focus on the thing that you were supposed to be focused on so that everything can keep going and you can have more time to be creative and you can have more time to be successful, and you don't have to waste your time doing all the other stuff that you may not be particularly gifted in, but you don't have to waste your time in that. And I believe that that's exactly what God showed us in Genesis 1. God is like, listen, I'm going to create systems that don't fully depend on me all the time. So I'm going to make the sun do what the sun is supposed to do. I'm going to make the moon do what the moon was intended to do. I'm going to tell the birds in the air, go ahead and keep doing the same thing that I just did with you. Copy and paste that. I'm going to tell the fish and everything that swarms in the ocean, go ahead and keep doing that. I'm going to go ahead and tell vegetation, okay, do this and do that. I'm going to tell the ocean, you can only go but so far and then come back. I'm going to go ahead and then tell humans, listen, I'm blessing you to have dominion and rule over everything. And then I need y'all to go ahead and populate and fill this thing so that whatever y'all create, you can then go ahead and make sure that by the time that I come back, that Jesus come back, that we have something that is controlling and ruling and mastering the things that were already created. God already had in mind. I have no desire to come down from this throne and continuously, okay, let me make birds again. Okay, let me go ahead. I got to make more fruit because they're running out of food. Okay, God knew I'm creating systems that don't depend on me. I'm creating systems that depend on each other, and I'm going to create an ultimate system, human beings, to rule over all of this. So if you really want to be technical, God literally showed us. He was the OG of, listen, I'm going to show you what it is to know a lot, but put systems in place. I'm going to show you what it is to create a business, but not have all my hand in the business. I'm going to make sure that I put people in their places. People will know their tasks. People will know what they need to do and how far they can go and what their demarcation line lies. Like, you can't go past here. No, night, you're supposed to stop here and then you rest so that sun can take over, and that kind of thing. And I think what happens is when we start getting away from having the knowledge of certain things, knowing the systems that are in places, when we start to get some of that crossed, that's where confusion lies. That's when lines get blurred. That's when we can't really particularly enjoy what it is that we are set to do, because we don't know what the next steps are for other people to do, or we're depending on other people to do their part, and it actually hinders us being in full capacity to the thing we were entrusted in. I really do not believe that we are supposed to be ignorant on any level to the thing that God entrusted us with. I truly believe that we are supposed to have a well-rounded knowledge base, especially when it comes to what God entrusted you with. When God entrusts someone with a child, it is not, listen, all I want you to do is name this child, feed this child, and clothe this child. And then everything else, I mean, you're not a doctor, so you can't really go about diagnosing things. You're not a dentist, so you don't really know how to take care of their teeth. You're not a psychologist or a therapist, so you don't really know how to emotionally, intelligently relate to this child. You're not and you can go ahead and look at all the things that a child, a future adult needs, and you can point out all the professional help that will be needed in this child's life and write yourself off because you don't have those credentials. Yeah, but you know what? Not being a doctor does not mean that you cannot be in tune with your child, that you can't say, yo, you feel hot today, that you know what, your face broke out after eating that, so maybe you're allergic too, so we're going to go ahead and not make that again. You know what? I noticed that when you get around this animal, you start sneezing. I noticed that when you get around this particular relative or this stranger, you don't seem yourself. You seem a little bit more guarded. So maybe you're not inclined to go back to their house again. Like, there's certain things that you are observant of because you have gone ahead and put yourself in a position that if God is going to trust me with something, then I need to know enough about how to protect this thing I've been entrusted with. When I took on that particular mindset, I totally read this story with Esau and Jacob completely different. Man, that thing has me so stirred. I don't know if you can tell by the passionate in my presentation. However, I am just like, yo, I really have a knack for tracing where someone went wrong and asking myself, what could they have implemented to really get the best results that should have been intended? Reading Esau and Jacob, I was like, Esau, my boy, my gosh, bruh, I see where you went wrong, sir. So let's go ahead and read it. I want to read from the NLT version. You know I read from the NLT version. The story starts Genesis 25. I want to start at verse 27, where it's actually the header. Esau sells his birthright. So you already know it got a little dun 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 dun, little drama, if you will, okay? 27. As the boys grew up, pause, because you know Esau and Jacob, they're twins, right? So Esau was the eldest. He came out first, and it was like, oh, okay, great. And then Jacob came out thereafter. Cool. Actually, let's read 26 so you can actually hear it. So when did she come out? I'm trying to see when Rebecca went to when she went to birth. Let me go back. All right, let's start from 21. So Isaac pleaded with the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was unable to have children. The Lord answered Isaac's prayer, and Rebekah became pregnant with twins. 22. But the two children struggled with each other in her womb. So she went and asked the Lord about it. Why is this happening to me? She asked. 23. And the Lord told her, the sons in your womb will become two nations from the very beginning. The two nations will be rivals. One nation will be stronger than the other, and your older son will serve your younger son. Pause. I'm sorry, sir. What a gender reveal. I was just trying to figure out why stomach was doing what it was doing. It was acid reflux. Was it? Do I need to go to the potty? Do I need to take some Metamucil? Is that constipation? I was just trying to outline what exactly was going on, and sir was like, "Listen, you finna have two boys." Shouts out. Okay, great. Thank you for that. It's going to be two. You said so. I'm having twins. First time documented. This is crazy. I'm sorry. They're going to be enemies forever. Oh, okay. Uh, I don't know whether to be happy that I know that I don't need to take a laxative, or to be really, really double the trouble, double the teething, double the potty training, double the fights, double the snotty nose and ear infections, and then double the nation that's going to be war with each other. This is a lot. Shouts out to Rebecca. I don't know what she felt after that, but I know what I felt reading that, Kay. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so he went ahead and told her that. And then 24. And when the time came to give birth, Rebecca discovered that she indeed had twins. Pause. What did you think, ma'am? He said you didn't pick up when he said the two sons? Yeah. Oh, you thought it was going to be one birth and then another one? You thought you was just big boned it with this particular pregnancy? Okay, that's cool. That's between you and the Lord. 25. The first one was very red at birth and covered with thick hair like a fur coat. So they named him Esau. 26. Then the other twin was born with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when the twins were born. Pause. So we already know from the beginning, y'all not going to be on the best of terms, okay? I can expect y'all not to have a secret handshake. There will be no dressing alike and letting girls know, like, yeah, that we brothers. Like, y'all not doing any of that. So we can just go ahead and just cancel out anything in my head that was going to be, they're going to really love each other. My first pregnancy is going to be great. The first set of kids is going to be great. We can go ahead and cancel that. And God gave her foreknowledge on that. So I don't know, would you want that information on the front end? I don't know, but that's between her and the Lord. I'd rather just have just thought it was just really, really, I can't have that particular food past 6. I wouldn't have subscribed to want to hear all of that. But again, between her and the Lord. 27. As the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter. He was an outdoorsman, but Jacob had a quiet temperament, preferred to stay at home. Pause. So this is the first documented extrovert and introvert. I like it, and that's just the way that I wanted to say that. 28. Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game Esau brought home, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Pause. So essentially, the father loved the one that was more boysy, Esau, because he was the hunter. But Rebecca loved the one that stayed home and had a quiet temperament and was an introvert and was in the kitchen with her, and they were having conversations and probably gossiping about what they saw in the neighborhood. Who knew? That's between them and the Lord. 29. One day when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau arrived home from the wilderness exhausted and hungry. 30. Esau said to Jacob, I'm starved. Give me some of that red stew. This is how Esau got his other name, Edom, which means red. 31. All right, Jacob replied, but trade me your rights as the firstborn son. 32. Look, I'm dying of starvation. Rebuke that in the name of Jesus, said Esau. What good is my birthright to me now? 33. But Jacob said, first, you must swear that your birthright is mine. So Esau swore an oath, thereby selling all his rights as the firstborn to his brother Jacob. 34. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Esau ate the meal, then got up and left. He showed contempt for his rights as the firstborn. You know what's sad about this whole thing? If Esau didn't hunt, nobody got to cook. That means nobody ate. If Esau didn't know how to hunt and bring home the wild game that his father just was like, he knows what he's doing. I'm talking about he brings home the one that it actually holds the flavor when Rebecca be cooking. You understand? If Esau was out of this picture, then the whole family food system and thereof would crumble. So if I take Esau out the picture, every other household member suffers. But without every other household member, Esau suffered. That is a problem to me. It is a problem to me that he knew how to hunt. It's a problem to me that he was actually known to be a skillful hunter. It's a problem to me that he did it in such excellence and great just skillfulness that his father was like, yo, you are absolutely dope, to the point that low key, you're my favorite. It bothers me to know that he was that honed on his craft, that he was that skillful in his artistry, yet he was so ignorant to what happens after that he sold his birthright. He sold himself short. He sold himself out. Don't you see celebrities that literally, like, they tell the backstory about how broke they were and they didn't get no publishing on that and their contract was trash and this, that, and the third. And that is because they honed the craft of, I just want to make music. I just want to write songs. I just want to make beats. I just want to go ahead and flow in my creative abilities. I don't want to worry about the back end. I just want to be focused on this end, so that when the song comes out, people love the song. So when the music comes out, people keep buying it. I just want to be focused on this. But when you are focused on one thing, one portion of your artistry, then it is going to cause for you to starve on the other end. There should be no reason why you are a great singer, why you are a great writer, why you are a great whatever, and yet you don't know the ins and outs, or just barely an overview of what it is that's attached to your artistry. Nobody's saying be an artist and be an accountant, but somebody is saying, yo, you need to know what translates to financial gain or loss when it comes to your artistry. So you're not out here doing MTV Cribs and doing all kind of, you're buying cars and expensive items, and you getting private jets, and you doing all that, and your account is looking like red instead of green, and you have no idea because you are not keeping eyes on the other portion of your artistry. Your art goes into a bank account. Your art goes into a future something. Your art goes into many different streams. Like you talking about just being a singer. No, there's certain things that you need to go ahead and do. How come you don't look at being a singer and having a soundtrack? Why don't you want to make songs and you can go ahead and say, listen, we can promote it this way. Like, you need to be a part of the promotion. Your artistry it has other folds to it, other facets to it. And if you are just stuck in one lane, then the whole artistry suffers. Then people wonder why they're one-hit wonders. Now, granted, the whole music industry that's between them and the Lord. But just taking that as an example, there's certain things that at your job, you're kind of frustrated because, everybody depends on me, or everybody keeps coming to me, and that irritates you. But what you don't understand is that you just became an asset. You mean to tell me that unit don't run well unless they can ask you zillions of questions all day? You mean to tell me that the household kind of crumbles because people don't know where certain things are at, and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah? And there's two parts to that. One is, congratulations, you are the go-to person. You are the jack of all trades. The other portion is, I need you to take a page from God in Genesis 1 and create some systems where everything doesn't depend on you. And I believe that Esau truly messed up, because let me explain something to you. You doing all that hunting, I'm going to need you to understand on how to make a quick peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You don't have to learn how to cook like Rebecca. You ain't got to be the stew master flex like Jacob. You don't have to learn how to make your favorite meal yet, but you need to go ahead and be able to grab something quick so that you are not in a state of starvation. Because when you are starved, that's where the enemy strikes. When you are empty, that's when the enemy goes ahead and enters. There is something about when you're not filled with something, the enemy and the world is going to fill you with anything. Why do you think that when it was time to go ahead and test Jesus before the ministry, it was during what time? What was he doing? He was fasting. And the enemy was like, and the perfect time is now. The perfect time is now? Yeah, because when you're starved, you'll make decisions that's not like you. When you're starved, you'll make decisions outside of God's alignment. When you are starved and you are empty of something, people are more prone to grab anything to fill themselves up. You know such and such is not your wife or your husband, but you just want company that bad. You want company over covenant? That's not truly what you're saying. You're saying you want the Netflix and chill and you don't want the anointing and the covering of God. You sure that's what you want to swap that for? Yeah, you'll go ahead and you'll live anywhere because you know what? At this point, you're just trying to get out of whatever situation that you're currently in. And it's like, you sure? You know they got asbestos, right? Oh, okay, because I don't really know. You want to go ahead and work anywhere but here. So you applying to anything. You just doing anything. It's like, you sure? You want to get out of the quicksand and now go to the dungeon? That you sure that's what you want to do? When you are empty, when you low fuel like that in your soul, in your spirit, you'll take anything. You ever look back on certain decisions you made in your life and was like, bruh, if I could do that again, I would have never dated such and such. I would have never moved there. I would have never took that particular job. There's no way. Matter of fact, y'all wouldn't even got my attention. As soon as I would have saw what y'all was offering, as soon as I would have seen the predicament or the place that I interviewed and was like, this place has a like a Loader bar kind of vibe. I'm not even going to hold me. I don't think I can come here every day. If your eyes would have been open, if you would have been full in a way that you can see in totality, then maybe you wouldn't have walked up so graciously to that fatality. Rebuke that in the name of Jesus. When you're full, you see things different. When you're full, you see things in a way and in a perspective that the average person can't see. That's why when someone's emotional, they have to call someone who's calm. Because what I need is someone who's level-headed in this moment, because right now I don't have that. So when someone's calling you and going, look, such and such, da, 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 the other person on the other line should be like, you know what? And this is another way to look at it. You know what? It's okay. So what you getting ready to do? We getting ready to plan ourselves out of the quicksand. It's all good. They thought it was a pit. They had no idea that you're destined for the palace. Let's go ahead and just listen. We getting ready to do this. But imagine calling someone who is equally as empty. That's why it's dangerous to have company with complaining coworkers. You don't like the boss, they don't like the boss. And so what y'all had decided to do is y'all decided to bleed together and share a Band-Aid. Yeah, y'all decided that, you know what, we're walking into this particular dungeon together and we're coming out of the dungeon smelling like dungeon. We're going to just copy and paste and rinse and repeat, and there will be no real change. That's why it is dangerous. And that is why most of the time when you get out of that dungeon, you have no more need for that level of fellowship. Yeah, that's why you can get out of the dungeon and they try to call you and speak about the boss again. You like, I don't really want to talk about her no more. I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, I don't want you to mention anything about that because I'm no longer in that. Why? Why all of a sudden the palette of your conversational choices has changed? Because your environment and your mindset is changed and now you're full and empty conversations don't fill you. The same thing that it goes with dating. Don't just date anybody. I don't care what holiday is coming up. I don't care how many selfies you tired of posting by yourself. I don't care what it is. I would rather you not have any ussies and have selfies in the meantime than have to ask God to heal something for somebody who wasn't even supposed to be in your life for a lifetime. I would rather you go ahead and say, you know what? I'm okay with honing the craft of singleness. I'm okay with honing the skills of myself and the communication and everything else that makes for a successful marriage. I'm okay with having a classroom of one for now so that when God goes ahead and sets the table of two so that I can dine with the person that he has for me, that it actually feels like a covenant that God has entered, that he literally fashioned this for me, that my soul leaps when he brings me my gift instead of my soul crying because I chose from the lowest shelf first. I would rather know what is going on in totality with my gift. I wonder if Esau thought the same. Man, Esau. I mean, if you know you're going to be out there for however long and you've been a skillful hunter, so you know you're getting ready to be thirsty, you're getting ready to be A, B, and C. And it's funny to me, he knew how to quench his thirst. He didn't know how to satisfy his hunger because he didn't ask Jacob for something to drink. He asked him for the stew that he was cooking. Yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all don't got no mango trees out there? Where y'all at? In Egypt? In that part? Okay, y'all don't have something that you can go and pick a berry real quick? Like make sure that you snacking on your way back home. And if you already know that you and your brother are at odds, as a matter of fact, I don't want nothing you cook. Where's my ma? Like, go get Rebecca and ask her, like, you ain't put nothing to the side for me? Yeah, that was foolish. How dare you eat from the pot of the enemy? That is literally like the coworker that you know don't like you brings you in some lunch. No. I don't care if you bought it. I don't care if it's sealed. It came from you. And so I don't trust enemy hands to feed me in anything. Yet there's just certain things that wisdom should have kicked in. No, we don't take advice from people who have that kind of marriage. We don't take advice from people who have that kind of mindset. We don't take advice from people who don't have what God actually gave you. Like, you're entrusted with something, so trust that God's going to give you the instructions for something. If it's coming from somebody else who has a low to bar mentality and looks like they have some scarcity in their life, I'll have that conversation, but I'm definitely not taking that advice. You think I'm gonna copy and paste what you just said? And that, yeah, so the Family Feud number one answer is no. 100% agree. Okay, good. Yeah, we're not doing that. And it is important to know that when you have something, when you've been entrusted with something, when you're wired to do something, don't be so narrow-minded in how you do something. You cannot afford to not know the things that are connected to what you have. Now, granted, nobody's asking you to be the singer and the marketer and some of that is a lot. But if it's connected to how you do a thing, to how you feel when you do a thing, then you need to know at least the basics of that thing. Again, Esau, you hunt, when you come back, you hungry. I need you to know how to feed yourself. Bare minimum. It don't have to be Thanksgiving, but it has to be filling. I need you to bare minimum know that when it gets this particular season, I feel this way, so I have some things in place. I need you to know that when it comes to whatever it is, fill in the blank, that you usually fill in the blank. And so you have some things in place that are fill in the blank. Don't leave yourself starved and dependent on others. That has never worked. Peter was like, Jesus, I will bro, I'm going to rock with you I'm going to rock with you until the wheels fall off, sir. Like, they ain't going to be able to get me off of you. I'm going to be so. Jesus was like, Peter, spare me, sir. By the time that the rooster goes ahead and does what the rooster does 3 times, you will go ahead and have just denied that you even knew me. Peter's like, what? Jesus, you tripping, and it's not even fall. Like, not at all. And guess what? 3 rooster crows later. What did he do? People are fickle. People mean well. But especially when you know that somebody does not mean well for you, I need you to have your eye to the prize, your ear to the streets, and just let wisdom kick in places that wisdom should be kicking in. There is no reason why any part of you wants to be filled or fueled by someone that doesn't mean well for you. No, I'm not looking for someone who doesn't like me to compliment me. I'm not looking at someone who has jealousy and envy issues to go ahead and not feel that with me. I'm looking for people to be exactly who they are, but I'm never, ever, ever going to walk around and be ignorant to something and depending on those type of people. The Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge. What don't you know that has something to do with what you've been entrusted with? That if the wrong set of hands gain that knowledge, it will put you in a predicament. The fact that Jacob knew Esau has a birthright. That's 1. 2, Esau be coming home hungry. Okay, that he got 2 up on him now. 3, but Jacob knows how to cook. That's a problem. especially when there was some foreknowledge given to Rebecca and Isaac that these two children are going to be at war with each other. I'm sure that didn't just start. That was from the womb, because literally Jacob grabbed the back of Esau's foot. So from the womb, y'all wasn't getting along. You was pulling out his pacifier and scratching his face. You were doing all the things. That's like, these boys, I'm telling you, this is something ridiculous. But at least they had some confirmation on why it was happening. Don't you ever, ever allow for someone to know so much about you that they know how to dismantle you. Bare minimum, bare basics, you need to know what's going on with the things that have been attached to what you've been entrusted with. What is my challenge to you? Exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. You don't have to have all the accolades, all the degrees. You don't, but you need to have systems in place for the things that God entrusted you with, so that everything doesn't depend on you. And then you also need to go ahead and have systems in place for things that, if in the wrong hands, it can dismantle you, but you have other things in place so that you know how to feed and fuel yourself. We always talking about, sometimes you got to encourage yourself. Yeah, but do you know how to feed yourself? Like, if every fast food restaurant in the world closed at the same time and it was just like, a week of no fast food, would you starve? No, you need to go ahead and learn how to get some cold cuts, make a salad, do something bare basic. We're not saying that you're going to have people over and it's going to be the best Friendsgiving ever. But we are saying, let's not depend on households and hands that mean us harm. Do you understand that? It's crucial in that. It's literally, your decisions are a sum total of the things that you have decided to choose. And so if your life is looking like, I lean a little bit too much on this side because I'm ignorant on how to do something on my side, then that's an indication that you need to hone a skill. The basics of it, at least. Don't be the jack of all trades and the master of none. Yeah, that's not wisdom. Yeah, I know how to do this really, really well. And I know how to do that really, really well. But when it also comes to my craft, I'm super ignorant on how to. How is it that Esau is a skillful hunter and he don't know how to bare minimum just put something on the grill? I don't care if you don't make no stew. You don't know how to put something on the grill real quick? You don't know how to make a fire, sir? And put some sticks and do some stuff. I'm not asking you to make barbecue sauce from scratch, but I'm at least saying, do you know how to feed yourself from the thing that you do? Everybody else is feeding off of you except you. Do you understand that? That should make a red flag come up and say, yo, when it comes to my gifts, when it comes to my wiring, when it comes to my purpose, there will never be a time that everybody's feeding off of me, but I'm ignorant on how to feed myself. Point blank, the period, no more grammatical anything needed after that. Do you understand that? All right, listen, because again, I'm going to be on the, nope, we're going to end here. I'm going to be, because I have a problem with my people perishing for a lack of knowledge. I think sometimes we go to all the way to the other side if we want to know everything. But no, I'm not talking about knowing everything. I'm talking about the danger of not knowing anything, especially when it's connected to you. Connected to you. I don't want him to learn how to make macaroni and cheese. I want him to know what to do after he hunts. You know what these conversations are. I can't. Because I'm passionate about it. That's why. And I get really, really, because the enemy is not crafty. He's just crafty. He's not smart. He's not wise. He just knows where you lack. And where you lack, that's where the danger lies. And I don't want us to be in danger anymore. I want us to be dangerous ourselves. Because you can't tempt me where I'm already full, sir. You can't tell me I can't go out here and fight this Goliath when I put hands to things in the shepherd field that will have you trembling. So have a nice day. There's a confidence when you're dangerous. There's a posture when you're dangerous. When you're dangerous, nothing can't tempt you. Listen, what he say in the wilderness to the enemy? Yeah, in the Bible, and the scriptures also say, it's like, bro, I'm knowledgeable, I'm dangerous. I know what this thing is about. I'm dangerous. I want us to be dangerous. But when we lack information, we're in danger. And I don't like being an endangered species. I don't like people that I love to be an endangered species. So I'm asking everyone to get out of that particular state of mind. And let's go ahead and be in these streets and be Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. All right, listen, now I really feel like you got what you needed. You know what these conversations are? They're life-provoking conversations that not the average person's going to have with you, but who your favorite homegirl. You checking out the YouTube? Created the number 2 multiply. It's the same thing like the website created2multiply.com for all the things that are all the things. If you're feeling like the ministry is helping you, K Gray, don't be afraid to Cash App created the number 2 multiply. Listen, she doing what the Lord said to do and just going ahead and saying what the Lord would have her to say, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and let me go because you got YouTubes and Cash Apps and all kind of things to go ahead and do. So we'll talk later, okay? I promise. All right, later.